Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Beautiful Me. I'm so excited today. As you can see, we have Alina To here. She's actually a solo traveler, and today we are going to go into the world of solo traveling. When I first received the outline and content for today, I'm like, oh my god, I haven't really solo traveled myself at all. I love traveling. I haven't really solo traveled at all in my life. So I'm so excited to deep dive together to understand more from Alina today. What is it like all about in that whole journey? How you get started? Give us all the tips and tricks on that as well. So super excited.
Yep.
So Alina, how are you feeling today right now in this moment?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I am excited. I'm very nervous. This is my first ever podcast. I'm really nervous, but I hope it gets better later. And I'm just so excited to be sharing about my experience with all of you guys. Yeah.
I love it. How does it do you get the nervousness as well whenever you start a trip or planning for a trip?
I would say the nervousness usually comes in when you're on the day of traveling itself. So when you get to that place at the airport, that's where all the nervousness comes in. Yeah, that's when you feel most anxious. But when it comes to like planning, not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh. And curious, right? How do you get started? How do you get started on this journey of solo traveling, and what was the reason why you embarked on this whole journey of solo traveling?
Long story short.
No, we can do the long story also.
Really? Okay, so I started solo traveling about 2 years ago.
Yes.
2 years ago, it wasn't a very good time for me in my life. So I broke up. So I lost my relationship, yes. And not only that, I lost my job as well. So I was on a contract role and they didn't extend me. So I lost both my job and I lost my relationship. So I was like, I need to do something. I need to, get my act together. So I was like, okay, why not solo traveling? And I think to give some context is that I've been traveling since young. So when I was young, I would bring my mom around. So I'll be planning itineraries and all of that. So in that sense, I'm already very familiar with traveling and planning. So then I've always wanted to solo travel, having seen a lot of this content overseas as well. I mean, it's not so common in Singapore, but it's very common in Western countries. So I was like, it's something I want to do. And there's no better time than now because, I pretty much lost everything. So, yeah.
I love that. I've always said this saying, I'm a life coach, right? Promises and words, commitment is in action. It's always about the taking action, right? And what better way to take action when it's like, you know what, it's a good start, it's a good restart. Yeah. So ever since then till now, what was the thing that you discovered the most? Like just starting the solo traveling, right? What's the thing that you kind of surprised yourself and you discovered the most through embarking on this journey?
I think for a bit more context is that last time, so my personality type is ISTJ. So I am very much a planner.
Yes.
Especially like what I shared earlier, since young I travel with my mom, I've been planning everything. Last time my itinerary looks like down to the minute. Like I'll board this train, I'll board that train, every single minute. It was so detailed, so specific. But over time, you start to learn to really take things as it comes, like not being too hard on your routine, your schedule. So I would be a bit more flexible in terms of planning things. Sometimes I might just go be more spontaneous as well with activities and all. So I've learned that, you don't really need to plan that much and force yourself to stick within a specific schedule, or like timeline.
And what do you surprise yourself by abandoning the planning too much and now really going more with the flow? What was something that you kind of surprise yourself or discovered?
I think it's not that I've had any wow experience actually. It's more about me on a personal level, the way I respond to things. So last time, given the situation where you are so into planning and so rigid in terms of any changes, right? If these last minute changes happen, the way I responded was I'll be impatient. I'll probably blame myself. Even worse, I'll blame my mom or the people I'm traveling with. that's when I kind of lose my temper. But the thing about now is that once you're a bit more flexible with all of this, you're used to new changes and all. The way you respond to things is very different. You're a lot more patient with yourself, with the people around you, a lot more kinder to yourself as well as the people around you. So I think that's probably one of my biggest takeaway as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's like, even though it's like as if you're traveling, right? But you are stepping into a new identity.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved it. And all of this happened in how long? What is the time frame since you first started
I
solo
started
traveling?
solo traveling 2 years ago. I mean, it's not my full-time job,
Yeah.
so I'm not like traveling every like 24/7.
Correct.
So it's as and when I go on trips. Yeah, but yeah, that growth takes time.
Alina, a lot of when I see your content, right, a lot of your solo traveling kind of journeys, right, are on hiking. It's very nature kind of theme on that, right? Is that intentional?
That's a very good question, whether it was intentional. To answer that, no, it wasn't intentional. So actually, my very first hiking trip, this is not solo, this is with a friend, but my very first hiking trip was Mount Rinjani. And if you're familiar with like mountains and hikes, you'll know that Rinjani is not necessarily the easiest hike in the region, and definitely not for like first timers. But I went for it unintentionally actually. So I actually signed up with a friend to go on a boat trip in I think it was Floss. It was a boat trip.
Yes.
And then we booked our tickets, everything, but we didn't manage to book the boat trip because it didn't align with our schedule.
Okay.
So we were like, what else can we do in I can't remember what's the area. Lombok, yes. What else can we do in Lombok if not for the sailing trip? So then we scroll, then we saw, Mount Rinjani. Then we were like, okay, why not? Just go for it. And then I knew it was gonna be really difficult, but I mean, I didn't know it was that difficult. But yeah, so we tried to train for it. We tried, not very disciplined. But yeah, we tried to train by climbing a bit of stairs and So we decided to go for Rinjani. So then that was my first ever mountain, and it was a very difficult one, but the experience was very unforgettable. So then since starting from there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do more hikes because Rinjani is already one of the fairly more difficult ones. So then the subsequent ones I went were like easier in comparison to Rinjani. So I was, so then that kind of kick-started my whole hiking journey. Yeah, and then I realized like, I think my second one was a solo hiking trip.
Okay.
So then I started creating content out of it, and then I realized like, traveling solo is powerful, but traveling solo to go on a hike is like kind of next level. And I think it resonated a lot with my audiences as well. Yeah, so that's kind of how it started, unintentionally, but very good way. Yeah.
Wow. I love everything that's unintentional because that's where you surprise yourself. That's where the discovery happens as well. And when you say, right, your hiking, the solo hikes really resonate with your audience, right? What were the common kind of comments and themes that your raving fans are giving you? Do you see any things that they, based on their responses to you and their engagement, do you see any patterns from there?
Yes, definitely some patterns. So for my audiences, I would say they mostly like hiking, yes. And then there's this big group of people who are trying to get into solo traveling. So I get a lot of questions regarding my itinerary, like, how do I book this? How was the experience? How was the hike? So those are like the bulk majority of questions. But there's also this group whereby they are asking me, how do I get into specifically solo traveling? So like, how do I get into solo traveling? Is it safe? I don't feel safe. If I'm a female, like, doesn't it make it worse? Yes. So that's, I guess, also where my content kind of comes in a picture, and where I respond to all these DMs and tell them like, actually it's not as scary as it seems. So I guess that's also one reason that drives me to continue creating this content, is that I really enjoy the interactions I have with my this community over here that I've kind of built, and to know that what I'm doing is encouraging people and inspiring them to do the same. It just makes me very happy.
Thank you. And I can really see that, because when I'm looking at your content, right, it's like when you go on your journey, you're bringing us all along with you. Yeah, it's like as if we are also solo traveling, but virtually. While you're doing the physical one.
That's probably my favorite, my most favorite comment. So I do have posts of like carousels.
Yes.
So on every carousel, I try to be as detailed as possible, like telling you every single, like with timestamp, like every single minute what's happening. I try my best to go into like that storytelling mode.
I love that.
And I received some comments that people really enjoy it. Like what you mentioned, it's just like I'm bringing you through these experiences. I guess that is the whole point of it, is that for you to feel like you are in it and for you to kind of experience it yourself, and then subsequently to convince you to go for it. I think because that is the whole point of why I'm creating content, is also for I understand how difficult it can be to research, especially if these hikes are not very common ones, like very local ones, and then there's not much information out there available. So when you chance upon my post and you see how detailed it is, it kind of puts you through like really what to expect during the hike, what to expect out of this whole experience, and it just reassures you a bit of, you know, like, okay, I can kind of see like I'm going to do this and that, like it will look like this or that, and you're just a bit more reassured. So it gives you a bit more confidence to really just go for it. I mean, I don't hold back on my Instagram, on my TikTok. Like all the information is out there. Everything about like where I booked this, how much I booked it for, who I booked it with, everything is out there. So yeah, that gives you very little reason to say no if I, you know, like, because everything is out there already. So it's like, why not?
Exactly. And when I was looking through your content, right, for me, I'm not a hiker. Like by nature, I'm not a hiker, right? So when I was looking through your content, okay, I'm starting to be more curious right now. You're opening up my mind to the possibility of hiking, right? I actually observe, right, the evolution of your expression when you are starting the hike versus the end. And it's like almost you are stepping into a new identity. It's like a new Alina at the end. So that kind of intrigues me. I was like, wow, you mean by going through that, there is a quiet sense of peace and joy in the final destination, the reaching the summit. Yeah, so that by itself really, really inspired me to open me up the possibility of solo hiking as well.
You're gonna go for one? You can go next. There's no reason to say no.
Yeah, there's no reason to say no already.
Yeah.
I love that. So Alina, right, question. Was there any unexpected kind of events that happened in any one of your solo trip in the last 2 years? Was there like a most memorable, unexpected, like, oh my God, this is a disaster, or, you know, kind of like unexpected event that you actually went through during any of your solo travel trips?
Okay, I'll give that a bit of thinking, but I want to share this experience of my first hike. It's not solo like what I mentioned earlier, it's with a friend. But in that experience, in that moment, I was alone. And I think that was a kind of pivotal moment that really inspired my future, my upcoming hikes and all. So what actually happened, like I shared earlier, is at Mount Rinjani. So I was climbing at Mount Rinjani, impromptu hike, right? Didn't really train very well for it. And I was going up. It was the summit push. So it was midnight. We were pushing for the summit. I think only 30 minutes in, I wanted to give up. Yes, so it was pitch black, very cold. I was like, I can't do this. So I made the decision there and then to stop. And I told my friend, I told the guy, you guys go ahead. Just leave me here. I'll be fine by myself. Just go. So that happened, and so I was there alone, in pitch black, very cold, and I started crying. Yeah, I started crying because I felt very disappointed in myself. It felt like, you came so far. Like, why are you giving up now? It felt like. Yeah, I felt lonely at that point in time as well. I was scared, obviously. It was dark, it was cold. And yeah, so, but then the very practical side of me kicked in and realized that actually it made no sense for me to stay there because like what I mentioned, it's very cold. If I don't move, my body cannot produce enough heat. It doesn't make sense for me to stay there. I need to at least move. Even if I don't have the intention to reach the summit anymore, I still need to keep moving just so I, in that sense, survive. So there and then I made the decision to continue because like what I said, I didn't come all the way here to give up. So I decided to take that leap of faith and press on. So I took it step by step. 20 minutes later, an earthquake happened. I was like
literally
yes, earthquake.
What?
So there were like light tremors, and then everybody had to stop. So thankfully, I was at a point where there were like strangers from other hiking groups, tour groups around. So we all stopped there, and I mean there were like some tour guides. I mean I didn't know everyone else, but yeah, at least like there were people around me. So I didn't feel like I was like really in danger. Yeah, so there were tremors, we had to stop for a while, and then after like about 30 minutes or so, we could resume the hike. And so that's when I continued moving on. And then I continued climbing until I met the guide. And I was like, wait, what's the guide doing here? Because like I was here and then like everyone else continued, so they should be really far ahead. But then yeah, I met the guide somewhere here, and then I was like, wow, actually I wasn't doing that bad. Like I caught up with the guy, even though everyone else was in front. Yeah, but yeah, I think that whole experience really just taught me like to not give up. Yeah, even though your body tells you like, oh, you can't do it anymore. But I think what I realized about hiking is like every step counts. Even if you can't reach the summit, the most important thing is to really not stop and to just take one step at a time. And it is easy to say this, but I mean in that moment you really got to fight that thought to give up, fight that thought of like, oh, I can't do it, I'm not strong enough, no, I didn't train, all these negative thoughts, and just go for it. And it helps that you are not very fixated on looking at the top, on the end goal. So it just helps that you look down and really like push yourself one step at a time. That's when I realized I'm actually moving. Instead of looking at the top, then you realize that I'm not actually moving because it's so far. Yeah, so yeah, just tip is just look at your feet and just go one step at a time. And then, in time to come, you'll reach your peak. Yeah.
This is so divine. I needed to hear this today. Like what I say, I'm a life coach, right? It's all about our thoughts and our emotions. And I love that. And while you're describing your unexpected kind of journey on your hike, even with the earthquake, right? It reminds me of our day-to-day lives. That sometimes it is also like that. Yeah, there is also a sudden thing that is like, unexpected, right? And thank you for reminding me and our audience as well, right? That it's not looking at the top. And I love it, right? Just when I say, I didn't come here to give up. And when you were saying that, I'm like, okay, I should print it on a hoodie. Like, I didn't come here to give up. So good. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Okay, you inch me even closer to want to solo
now you
travel,
can't say no. You really can't say no already.
You're like trapping me in right now. I love that. Thank you. Wow. And is this the most unexpected, or do you have any others in later on in your upcoming?
I think this is the most unexpected kind of thing, in the sense where it's a natural disaster and I almost gave up. But I would say something I didn't really expect to take away out of the whole solo experience, solo traveling experience, is actually the joy you get from interacting with strangers. It is something that I didn't expect. Coming from an introvert myself, who probably struggles to even hold conversations, even though I've gotten a lot better through solo traveling. So actually, fun fact is that last time I wasn't very good in holding conversations. In fact, probably right now, if I'm sitting here talking to you, you probably can't even go like more than 5 minutes. Wow. But like my whole solo traveling experience, or just traveling in general, has changed me in a way where I'm now so much more confident to hold conversations and talk to people, even if they're strangers. And I think that's how I'm able to do it right now. But yeah, I think in my trip Mount Apo in the Philippines, which is my most favorite hike so far, something very different about this hike is that it's very local. So compared to Rinjani is a very touristy hike. A lot of tourists, everyone has the end goal of, I want a summit, I want a views, I want a summit, 3726 meters above sea levels. But for Apo, the focus is not on summiting. The focus that the guide made very, very clear at the start is to enjoy the journey. Right? Yeah. So, and with this focus, we move together as a whole team. Not gonna lie, it took me a while to get used to it because coming from Rinjani, I was like, I need to go, like, I want to go fast. But then for Mount Apo, everybody was like taking it slow, no rush, just enjoy. So there was like, yeah, so we moved and then we kept waiting for people. So because we want to move as a group, so there's a lot of waiting. I was getting a bit impatient, yeah, and so we even had time to stop and I had to I could go pluck a carrot. I could try a raw carrot. You know, that was how much time we had.
Wow.
In a spirit of enjoying the whole process, enjoying the journey rather than not rushing. Yeah, so that was Mount Apo. So during that trip, I met a lot of local Filipinos. And it was also during that trip where I really encountered Filipino hospitality. I don't know if you have been to the Philippines, but their hospitality is really next level. And yeah, I've never felt so much at home during my hikes. It was during that trip where I met all these locals, and it almost felt like we knew each other before the hike started. We were really like friends, and I still keep in contact with some of them now actually. And most of my audiences are actually from the Philippines as well. So it's a community that I hold very dear to my heart as well. And actually I think just 2 months ago? Yeah, 2 months ago, I saw on Facebook that actually the guy that was in my tour group, he actually passed away. Yeah, and I really it was a very hard news to hear because just looking back at this trip, there were so many fond memories during the hike. He cooked for us, he carried our bags, he was really there for us, and he just showed us like Filipino hospitality at its like finest. But yeah, he passed at a very young age of like 30 plus.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like doing a TikTok post. I don't know if you guys saw it. I was doing a TikTok post to really like remember him, and all the comments, like it went viral. All the comments flooded in. Wishing him all the peace and all. So and they was also sharing their own experience with him as a tour guide. So there were like photos attached, and I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, if anything, this has only kind of reminded me of how much our porters as well as our guides put on the line to really make sure that we are safe during our hikes.
For sure.
And yeah, I feel like there needs to be more love, respect, and recognition for these guides and porters. Reaching the summit is not so much or purely your own effort and your work. It's a lot of the guides as well. If not for them, you probably wouldn't be able to go that far. So
Thank you for sharing us these beautiful memories, the tribute as well, right? And how I think just now you beautifully said it. Going on a journey is almost like coming back home as well. As much as it's an external kind of journey on a hike, on an ascension, on enjoying the journey, it's also a journey of us coming back home internally too. Yeah, and I feel that a lot in your journey. So thank you. Wow, I love it. So Alina, I'm really inching into, I want to try my first solo travel right now. Really, as you're sharing your experience, right, I'm like, you're sparking the interest in me. But I want to honestly say, I'm very connected to my phone every single day. It's like, I cannot live without a Wi-Fi signal right now or being not connected, right? What is the advice you will give me? Because I'm a city dweller, I'm so used to, this kind of hustle and bustle. What would be your advice to me? And how can you reassure me on this? Like, this is my, it's almost like an addiction right now. I'm so addicted to my phone. Tell me, guide me.
I think living in Singapore, of course, we're all very attached to our digital devices. Myself as well. I mean, given how active I am on TikTok, like I'm obviously not innocent as well. But I would say the first thing is the very practical answer is one, it is not expensive to go on all of these vacations, to go on all of these trips. My hike probably costed less than the hike itself was only like $200 or less.
Ooh.
Yes, a very good price. Okay. And like air tickets there are also like just a couple hundred. So honestly, if you compare it to like an average Singaporean holiday, which probably costs thousands, these
Easily.
hiking trips are honestly very, very affordable.
Okay.
So that's one, like you've got your money settled,
Okay.
right?
Done. Check.
Then second is
Yeah.
all these hikes are very short also. It's only like a couple of days. So you don't need that much time off from your leave. And yeah, and on I guess the most important thing, like the third point is on these hikes, they are probably like a 3-day, 2-night hike, like Mount Apo, Mount Rinjani, 3 days, 2 nights, right? Most of these about 80% of this hike, you have no signal, you have no connection. So in that sense, you are forced to already disconnect from your devices. I mean, even if you want to use it, you can't. Yeah. So that is where you're forced to disconnect, I guess.
I see. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm still feeling a little bit of anxiety of this, but okay, maybe what is the beauty of disconnecting? Like when you are in those moments of peace and stillness, right, on your trip and on the journey of like coming back home, what is the benefit? What is the joy in that for you?
I think for myself, being able to disconnect on my trip, and I think when I say disconnect, it is a very intentional choice to disconnect. Like what I shared earlier, I still see people using, as and when we reach a point where we have connection, mobile data, they would be updating their Instagram stories, their Facebook posts, instantly. It's like they want people to know that, oh, I'm here, I did this. But I feel like I've come to a point where I am putting myself back consciously in terms of, wanting to post immediately. Also because and just, pushing all of this to after the trip. So in that moment, I forced myself to really, be present, enjoy that very moment. I mean, once you move on, you really can't go back to that moment anymore.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot of joy and peace in that moment because you are also forced to reflect. Like with that very stunning view in front of you. I mean, that's the best place to reflect and really like think of life in that sense. The most common thought is like, oh, I've come so far. Like you look at that view and you're like, especially at the summit, you're like, wow, I've come so far. I made it. And I don't know. There's just that very it's just very, I don't know how to put it, but you just feel a very strong sense of accomplishment and pride. Maybe not so much of being, yes, because you're physically able to get up there, but also because the fact that you took the very step to even put yourself in this position that enabled you to get here in the first place. I think that is even more that you should recognize that even more than that whole physical journey of getting there. If I'm making any sense.
You're making total sense right now, and you're giving more reasons now to sign up for a solo travel hike. Yeah, I love that. And curious, when you get that peace and that stillness and that realization, do you bring that back to the day-to-day? Or what elements of that do you bring back to your day-to-day? Yeah.
Oh, that's a very tough question because it almost feels like once you end a holiday and then you come back to Singapore, it's like, oh, back to reality. It's like so different, right? No more nature views, no more moments to really reflect. But then it's not right to say that. I think like what I mentioned about how I took the intentional effort to disconnect in nature. I took the effort to push back on posting and all of that. I feel like that can be done in Singapore also. I think all of us have very busy schedules, especially in Singapore.
Yes.
And especially since we live in a culture where we respect the hustle, the grind. There's a lot of climbing up the ladders. It can be very tiring, which is all the more important for us to make the decision to not be too wrapped up by that whole culture. And I think that one part of my life kind of revealed to me that being in that whole culture isn't all that good. So it was during my 9 months of unemployment. I actually took so a lot of my solo travel actually happened during my 9 months of unemployment because I mentioned I lost my job, I lost my relationship. So it was this 9 months of unemployment whereby I was not working. I was just focused on traveling and when I got back to work, it kind of reshifted my whole priority. Like work is not just all about climbing up. Because I've seen so much more than what life can offer me outside of work. As during my whole solo travel journey, with all the people I've met, all the interactions, all the memories, so many life lessons I've picked up, a lot more than whatever I've gained at work or in my life back in Singapore. So yeah, I would say to make that intentional decision to disconnect from your devices and not be so absorbed in all your material pursuits for fame, for name.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, this hitting on so many levels. And I love the word intentional. Yeah, I'm a life coach myself. So that intention, the purpose, why do we even start off doing this, right? It's so, so important. And I'm going to go with the flow here. If today, the current day, present day Alina, were to go back 2 days ago, when you lost your job and when you were at the stage whereby you ended a relationship and she needed an advice, she needed somebody out there to tell her something right. With the wisdom that you have today, what is the thing that you would tell her? Ooh!
What would I tell
what would you tell
her?
her? That Alina who was like, I just lost my job. Everything is like, what will you tell her? Given the wisdom that you have today, where you are right now, I'm curious.
That's a very difficult question.
What happens if you know? Yeah.
So there's a part of me that also feels like there's not much I need to say to that version of myself because I think in that moment I believed I was strong enough already. Correct. So in that sense, I would say I knew I had that strength within me to go through whatever circumstances threw at me in that period. Even if I lost my job, I lost my relationship. So I don't know what I would say to that person, but I'll probably tell her it'll be worth it. That it'll be so much more fun. You probably wouldn't even see yourself today, the person I am today. I would say 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't see myself here today as the person I am now. Because I've been shaped by all of these experiences that I've been through.
You know you're giving so many mic drop moments, right? Then we can create all the hoodies, all the t-shirt, all the merch today, right? I knew you got the strength today. I always believe in you. So good. Elena, so good. Thank you. Thank you. And that faith and trust in ourselves. It's easier said than done. But sometimes it's to know that, you know what, you've got this. You are so guided. Everything will be okay. So thank you. I think a lot of our audience, even me myself, I need to be reminded every single day also. So thank you so much. So Elena, just like you were saying, right, several times saying that you are an introvert, but social media is nothing about, being introvert. It's actually the direct opposite, right? So what made you kind of like make your profile public? And how was that feeling like, from doing that?
So I am an introvert, proudly.
I love it.
I would say posting on social media, like what you mentioned, it definitely takes a different, it takes something for an introvert. And it's not something that I really planned for. I went into it unintentionally. I didn't expect my TikTok to blow up as well. I think my first few posts didn't really have that much reach and visibility. Only subsequently when I posted on Rinjani, then I started to find people who were interested in hiking, in traveling, solo traveling. And that's when my followers started to really grow. But if you notice, in all my posts, I don't talk. You can barely hear my voice. So it's very obvious that I guess I'm an introvert. Because if I was an extrovert, you'll probably hear me yapping all over my trips. There's so much to say, right? Which is why I'm here as well. And I do really enjoy sharing about my trips and my experiences. So why am I not doing it on my TikTok videos? Boils down to I'm an introvert and it just feels very strange sharing my own voice in my own videos. I don't even know if I'll look back at this podcast, to be very honest. I think I'll be scared to watch it. So that's one thing. But I guess so for myself, I focus a lot on storytelling. And storytelling is it's all text and like pictures. So I mean, I don't need to be very open about like. I mean, it doesn't take that much for an introvert to be storytelling through text and pictures. So yeah, I just try to be very genuine, very authentic. Just just spill everything out there. Not holding back. About my whole experience. So yeah, and I think that's something manageable for an introvert. But more than that, I think it's all the DMs, all the comments, and this whole community that I've built that inspired me to continue posting more. I think to the extent I'm starting to post without thinking so much about how people would receive it now actually. So you can already see how much I've grown from, not knowing how to post, not being willing to public my social media to now just posting whatever I want. To the extent I have this carousel post of my solo travel in Tokyo. And then the last photo was me crying because I was so sad the trip came to it. And I was like, it was like a selfie of me crying. I mean, I don't even send this to like my friends, like no one has seen it, but I just posted it on like TikTok for the whole world to see me like with a tear. I guess I just really want them to experience and feel what I was feeling in that moment. Like what you mentioned, for me to bring them through this whole journey, through this whole experience themselves. And it just feels a lot more real. Yeah, it resonates with them a lot better. And yeah, like I was saying just now, all the comments and this whole community I built inspired me to continue on because I see the impact that I am driving unintentionally, but very glad and very humbled to be able to do so. These comments, some of them were like same as me, like they were traveling but they didn't know how to do their content, didn't really dare to post it, but I've inspired them to start posting. And then the other group is also people who always wanted to go into solo traveling, but never really knew where to get started. My content has inspired them to get started. And then some of them will come back telling me, oh, I've done this hike with your like tour group. And then they will start like sharing photos with me. And yeah, it's just so beautiful how, whatever you put out there has that power to create a new experience for others and, subsequently even change, their life. But yeah.
I love that. As you were sharing just now, right? You reminded me of an episode from Emily in Paris as well. She also went in, right? Posted her life and everything. Then she became an influencer. There was one episode, right? They actually said that the person who doesn't even know his or her influence has the biggest influence because you do it so unintentionally. You do it so authentically as well. Yeah. So. Love that. Thank you. Another quote for your merch. Be yourself. Be awesome. You have so many merch today. Yeah. I love that. Okay, one more. We are coming to the end of 2025 this year, and we are starting a new year, going to start a new year, right? There will definitely be people still on the fence today, even after hearing your amazing shares, right? They're still on the fence. Shouldn't I, right? What will be your final tip or like a final golden word of wisdom, right? For all of those who are on the fence right now, are still like, like, I don't know whether to take the next step. So what will be your words of wisdom?
Oh, this is another tough question. I feel like I'll just say, come and talk to me.
Please,
details. I mean, if like watching my content is not enough, if hearing this podcast is not enough, just come and talk to me. Hopefully I'll be able to convince you. And yeah. But I would say, the thing that's holding a lot of people back, the first thing is safety.
Yes.
But obviously, if you do your research, you will avoid places that are unsafe. So yeah, just avoid places that are unsafe and do your research. That's the main bulk of it. So like what I shared earlier, I grew up planning my trips and also doing travel research is something that's really in my blood, you know, like so comfortable doing it. But for a lot of people, I understand like it's not easy to do research. It doesn't come off as easily, which is why my content is there to simplify that whole process for people.
Exactly.
And then so now that the research is done, the second step is to really get going, right? Really get out there and say, yes, I want to go for it, to book that flight and all. I would say very cliche, but it's more like why not? It's like why not?
True.
You've already got research done. And I think if you have been scrolling like solo travel content and all that, you'll know there's this phrase they say. It's always like if you can't beat the fear, just do it scared. So yeah, if you have been scrolling like solo travel content and all that, you'll know there's this phrase they say. It's always like if you can't beat the fear, just do it scared. So yeah, It has actually motivated me quite a lot because it's
good.
very true. There's only so much you can prepare and all, right? If you can't beat the fear, then it's just gonna hold you back. So why not just do it scared? You've already got your research done. You just need to get out there. So even if you're scared, it's fine. Just trust yourself. Trust that you have done your research. And yeah, I guess, yeah, just trust yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'll just add on one more last part, right? One thing that whenever I'm fearful, I'll ask myself, right? Action precedes clarity. So while waiting there and sitting there and saying, I want to be clear, no, I'll just take the action and the clarity will come. So thank you. Words of wisdom, another quote on another hoodie, and we'll click on the link to buy. Thank you, Alina. I'm so grateful. Yeah, really today. Thank you so much for opening up my perspective to solo traveling as well. And I always want to find a reason before I do certain things. And today you have gave me more than one quality reason. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to continue to support your content as well and to see your upcoming future adventures as well. So
yeah, I'm very glad to have been able to have this opportunity to be sharing my experience with everyone and with you as well. So it's been a really nice opportunity.
Thank you. Stay tuned to all your adventures. And thank you so much for being on Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.